What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and I'm excited for this particular Wealth Wednesday. I got my girl Stacey Tisdale with me.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody, and happy Black History Month.
Woo woo! You cannot cancel that, okay?
No.
Every month is Black History Month, but
Absolutely.
but this month we are going really, really hard. But we have Sam Ibrahim with us, who's been doing this Wealth Wednesdays Real Estate Club, which has been amazing so far. So we're excited for this.
Thank you for having me on. Excited.
And we all kicked it and decided that a great idea would be to actually document the process of what it's like to invest in real estate with a real person who's been doing the program. So today we have Sadina here. Hey, Sadina.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up for us. And this is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. So we appreciate you just kind of opening up and letting people see what this process is like. So, Sam, if you want to talk to Sadina and maybe give us some information on how the two of you even know each other.
Yeah, so it's been, 6 months now, more or less, right? We met in the middle of summer at an event, actually. We were at a real estate event, an investing event in Atlanta. And, we crossed paths, and she had wanted to get into real estate, and we thought it'd be a great opportunity for her to jump in and learn firsthand. She comes from Texas, all right? So she's not from New York or Jersey or some of us over here. And
What's that supposed to mean? No.
Ain't nothing wrong with nobody from Texas. Yeah, but the best people come from the Northeast, from the tri-state. Right? No dig to you. I love Texas.
She's like,
too.
you know what? I don't want to do this anymore.
Right?
And we've been working together ever since. So she's had an amazing start. She's an action taker. She's a go-getter. All the information we give her, she goes and implements. And I thought she'd be a great example to show other people how this is very possible.
Sadina, give us some insight as to when you guys first met, how you knew you were ready to get started. I want to know, prior to this, had you done any investing at all, just to get a little background, and what mindset you were in when you met Sam?
Yeah, so I had did some investing in the past. It doesn't always go well, as we know. But I think what was different is the experience that I was getting with, everything that was coming in the package, hand-holding through the process, whereas you pay for something and you're not necessarily getting taken care of in the manner that you feel like you paid money for something, and you're not necessarily feeling like you're getting
your money's worth.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
To put it point.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah. Period. Yes, exactly. And so when I joined, or I'm not going to lie, I was skeptical because of other things that I've joined, right?
And that's fine, because I think we've all been burned in the past, and it can make us really scared to try something new.
Exactly. So I was like, I was on the fence. I was teeter-tottering back and forth, and I was like, you know what? Just do it.
Right.
You got to keep going no matter what. Something's going to pop, right? So it just so happens. I mean, it's been phenomenal. My experience has been exactly what he said, which is far in between when you get on a call and someone's telling you something. They don't always do what they say they're going to do. And I have not had an experience where I haven't been able to call one of the brothers and get what I needed. In a timely fashion.
You guys met 6 months ago.
We did.
And what has happened to you real estate-wise since then?
So since then, I come from like a luxury background. So completely night and day. From that to this fix and flip, this is stuff that's already done, and you don't have to go in and do anything. But this is fun. I'm a numbers girl, so looking at wow, I can make this amount in this short amount of time, whereas I'm investing in new construction over here, and it's taking like a year or two for it to,
Right. It's quicker. This is like a quicker turnaround for you.
Correct.
You've actually got into you've actually become a homeowner since you met him. More property.
Yes. We've purchased more property. We purchased in St. Louis and in Toledo, and I'm looking to purchase a couple more.
What made you pick those places? I'm just curious, because a lot of times it is hard for people to invest someplace else, like other than where you are. So what made you say St. Louis and Toledo?
I mean, when you make the world your playground, it's so much more attainable for your goals. I have big goals, so for me, I mean, if the deal makes sense, no matter where it is, it's a deal.
No, that's a great way to think, because I always tell people living in New York, it's so expensive here. And some people might feel like I'm never going to own a home because, you got to spend...
Absolutely. Look, once you learn these strategies, the entire world is your playground, right? You could buy a property in New York City, or you could buy a property where you get a higher yield or higher return in a place like St. Louis, which is what she did, right? And I tell people all the time, it's a house hack. You can rent where you want to live and go own property in places that are going to generate a better return to pay for the lifestyle where you want to live. So I think that's a great investment strategy.
How instrumental were you saying? We're trying to give people a sense of what it's like when you join the real estate club and what the process is like in terms of helping her find those properties.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being part of the club, we do a lot of marketing for the group as well. So one of the properties we actually presented to her, and she jumped on it right away. Like I told you, she's an action taker. She ran the numbers, she analyzed, she's like, this is great. It's going to spit out amazing cash flow. And she's in the process of renovating it right now. We helped her along the way from, to structuring the deal to closing. And I think we even helped you find a contractor, right? So we walked her through the entire process. The second deal, she went out on her own and found it, used all the tools that we gave her, and helped and found that deal.
Wow,
and that's
so that's
the one
great.
in St. Louis.
So you presented a deal to her, and she jumped on that one, and then you went and did it yourself?
I haven't seen that property at all. I haven't at all. I went once, but I haven't been there, nothing and everything, just to give perspective to people that you don't actually even have to go to see the property.
So how does that work? Tell us. So for people who are listening, and I know they're going to want the details, the examples. So how did you get that done without even having to be there or see it, except once?
Zoom calls, the brothers putting together their contacts, their people that they know. Hey, we have this contractor, vet him, see if you want to use him. He's great. He's done great work for us in the past. So, we would love to see if this could be a relationship for you to, use him as well. Yeah,
it's a great network, because even being in the club, there's people who do appraisals, there's contractors, there's real estate agents, there's, there's all these different people who come from different aspects when it comes to real estate. And so whatever you need, it's inside the club.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest advantages of being a part of the club is you join a community, right? A community that uplifts each other and supports each other. And you can work within the community to get most of what you need done just with someone in the community. Like you said, appraisers, contractors, insurance agents, lenders, right, within the club. And if you want to get into wholesaling, other people in the club want to buy. So you can have your buyers list right in the club. And work with each other to buy and sell deals. So it's a phenomenal group, and it's if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go in a group, right, and a team.
The community aspect is huge, and that's one of the reasons we brought this to you. All should be jumping on it. You go to wealthwednesdaysrealestateclub.com.
Yes.
wealthwednesdaysrealestateclub.com, walking you through the process. We have a challenge coming up that we'll tell you about, but we put a real challenge to our partner Sam, and he is going to get this young lady into a home by the end of this month. So every Wednesday during Black History Month, we're celebrating it, and we're going to tell you what their process is. And by the end of the month, we have challenged Sam to make her a homeowner. What are you going to do?
Yes. So we went out and searched for inventory, and we found, so her particular goal is to buy rental property, right? She has a pretty lofty goal of where she wants to get in rental property, and she has a really great, and she has great reason behind it. She wants to retire her parents, right? So when she said that, I was like, oh, I got to get all behind this, right? And so we're helping her find rental property. So we found this particular asset or the property in an area called Springfield, Ohio. Ohio, Midwest period is one of my favorite places to buy rentals, because the rental income versus the purchase price that you're going to buy in those areas are just phenomenal, versus like in New York, right? You might make 3-4% in New York, but you might make 10, 12, 13% in the Midwest. So again, where you invest doesn't have to be where you live, right? And so we found this property.
You're showing people these types of deals every week in the club.
Every single week in the club, we show these type of deals.
And people can present deals too if they
Absolutely.
see, and maybe you want to partner with somebody.
Absolutely.
Because I think partnerships are important sometimes.
Yes.
There's a deal that could be great, but you're like, I can't do this by myself.
Absolutely. And this is a perfect example of that. So if you want to tell how the deal's going to be structured and how we're utilizing the group to make that work.
With Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
who's Anthony?
Anthony is someone.
This is Anthony.
So Anthony is a new student that's joined the community, and his credit wasn't strong. So the brothers kind of putting, things together as we have our personal conversations with them, letting them know, our own personal goals and everything. He told them that I guess he needed, someone to help with credit. So I'm bringing the credit aspect to the table. He's bringing the funds, and it's a beautiful deal. I don't have to put any money into the deal.
That's amazing.
And they both get to eat off this deal, right? And there's more than enough deals to go around. So that's one of the things we do. We talk to everyone individually, so we know everyone's situation, and we know where people have strengths and where there's weaknesses, and we try to pair people to fill the voids of the weaknesses, so that they can attack this business full force and make it to the promised land.
Because that's still a risk for you. Your credit's on the line. Your credit's So having a great credit score, but then somebody has the cash, and so no matter what, everybody has some skin in the game.
Absolutely, everyone's invested.
Exactly.
And so we just put this deal together, right? So with the goal of having it closed by the end of February, and right now she's working on the financing process.
Yeah, but
so
I'm like, what are you going to do
January
this week?
January 1st, the deal was put in contract. So the deal's in contract. February 1st. Sorry, the deal's put in contract. And so now from contract to close is usually around 2 to 3 weeks, where you're going through the financing process. She'll be working with the lender, Black Knight Lending, to get the financing in order for this deal. So they're going to get something called hard money for the purchase. And that hard money is going to fund the majority of the deal. So that deal is going to be funded. I think 90% of it is going to be funded, or 85 to 90% is going to be funded by hard money.
Wow.
So she gets to use the bank to fund the deal. They're also going to fund a portion of the renovation costs. And so Anthony's bringing the down payment, the closing costs, and she's going to bring her experience and credit, and they're going to own this property long term for the next 10, 20, 30 years, allow it to appreciate, get cash flow, and also get depreciation for their taxes long term on this property.
So when you see them come into the club, tell our audience, how did you decide, okay, these two are a good fit?
Yeah, so I know that Sadina had strong credit, and she has a little experience now, right? She's done a few deals. I saw Anthony had the resources in terms of cash to buy the property, but he wasn't as strong in the credit part of it. But he was eager and excited to get a deal done.
Right.
And so he said, if you can find me a partner on the deal, I'm ready to get something and started right away. So we looked through the database. She said, look, there's someone who has a little more experience than you. She's got great credit. You bring the money to the deal, and she will guide you through this process. And in the span of the next 2-3 months, you guys will own this rental property long term together and both make money on it, and can probably refinance all of the money and own this long term with $0 out of pocket for the next 10, 20 years, because they're buying it so cheap.
Now, let's talk about that for people who maybe have never done this process before. When you talk about refinancing and getting the money, how does that work?
Yeah. So are you okay if I share the numbers on the deal? So she's buying the house for $85,000, right, in Springfield, Ohio. She's going to put approximately $20,000 in renovations to the property. So that's a $105,000 total investment. This property is going to be worth about $160,000 after those $20,000 investment. So that's an instant appreciation of $55,000 over their entire investment amount. So they can go to any bank in the country, any lender in the country, and refinance 75% of that appraised value. Guess what? 75% is more than what they have invested into the property. So they can not only take all their money out, probably take some additional money as well and put it in their pocket, tax-free, and own this property and cash flow on it long term. And that's the best way to own real estate.
Boom.
Wealth Wednesdays, realestateclub.com. That is awesome. So we had a challenge for SAM, and we're also doing a special Black History Month challenge that is the 24th to the 28th, and you can be part of that by going to wealthwednesdaysrealestateclub.com and saying what are some of the things people are going to do in that challenge.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So we've got some amazing guests that we're going to bring on, including all of us in this room are going to be on that challenge, right? But in addition, we have some amazing guests. We got a high-level tax strategist, right? I don't know if I want to drop any names that are coming on, but so he's going to be on there as well as a guest speaker, giving you high level information on how you can save money by investing in real estate. So if you are making great money at your job, or you sold a property and have a tax liability, or you have a business and need to have some write-offs, he's going to show you how you can use real estate to do that. We're going to bring on it's going to be a week intensive, almost like a boot camp, to give you a full jump start into the real estate space. So we're going to go over how to set up your entity the right way to protect you tax wise as well as liability wise. All right, just like how we set it up. We call it our 8-figure entity setup. We're going to go over how to analyze any market in the country very quickly and know how you want to invest in that market. We're going to go over the fix and flip strategy, the BURR method strategy, to buy
What's
rentals. BURR is when you buy, renovate, rent, and refinance, exactly what Sadina is doing on this property right here, and build a rental portfolio and be able to own it long term with little money invested. And we're going to go over the wholesaling real estate contract strategy. And guess what? One of my favorite parts is we're actually going to bring my lenders that I've worked with. I'm going to introduce my lenders to the people in that group so they can use those lenders to close their first, second, and third deal. So our network now becomes your network in that challenge. And then I think some of the biggest things, we're going to review real live deals together on that challenge and use all the strategies we just learned to analyze those deals. And some people are going to be able to close their first deal live on that challenge and use those lenders I introduced to do that. So we're making real estate ownership, home ownership, a reality live on that challenge.
It's the best challenge ever. Wealth Wednesdays, Black History Month challenge.
Sadina, what are some of the things that you've learned, you would say, so far from joining Siam, and now you have another property that you're in the middle of that we're going to be documenting this month. But for people who are listening, what are some things that you would say are valuable lessons that you've learned when it comes to investing in real estate?
Man, I think just opening my eyes to there's other places other than Texas or Florida or, where the numbers may not make sense, So just opening my eyes to okay, I could go here, I can go anywhere that the numbers make sense is really been just eye-opening and game-changing for me, for sure.
And one of the main things, I love that you guys talk about contractors, because that is one of the hardest things.
Yes.
Is finding some great contractors.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about that particular business.
Yeah. We've had our struggles too, so I can understand.
Yeah, that it is so, it's like the job's not done and they leave when it's 80% done and go on to the next thing, and you're like, hello, this happened, this isn't working, this is done wrong, you know, and then you're spending more money bringing in other people to come and fix things.
Absolutely.
That's when community really comes in handy, because if you're not there, they'll be telling you they did something, they're supposed to come on a certain day, and it just doesn't happen, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's funny because I hired a plumber one time, and he said I'll be there on Tuesday at 1, and
He's
so
still not
Tuesday
there.
at 1 we're all waiting, and he doesn't show up, and then like a few days pass, and we call him, we're like, I don't understand, what happened. We said Tuesday at 1. He says, yeah, I told you Tuesday at 1, but I didn't tell you which Tuesday. That was his response.
Are you serious?
And I said, okay, all right, I understand the game now.
It's crazy.
That is.
It makes me want to go get my license for everything. I need to learn how to do electrical. I need how to do plumbing. I need how to lay down floors.
Real estate
I'm like, I need to learn how to do this myself, because people was,
Yes,
it's interesting too when you have good referrals and you know people, how they'll do things for you at the proper cost, because people can also tell you anything. And when you have that knowledge and that information, you can come to the group and be like, look, they told me X, Y, and Z to do the roof, and you could be like, wait, no, this is how much it should cost. It's nice to be able to go in with that information, because sometimes you'll just believe what somebody tells you because we're inexperienced, in doing certain things, and people take advantage of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I want you to talk about this, Sam, in regard to our total mission. So the mission of Wealth Wednesdays Real Estate Club is to get our community into $100 million worth of real estate in 2025.
That's right.
We're also, our mission is to educate, which we take very seriously, particularly this Black History Month and the history of blacks in real estate. It wasn't until the late 1960s, here's a factoid for everybody, that the Federal Housing Authority would insure mortgages that were taken out by blacks or in black neighborhoods, and how that put us so far behind in terms of building generational wealth. Talk about how important things like that are to you in this mission.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate, but a lot of the vast majority of homeownership falls on the other side, right? And not necessarily on our people's side. So it's my goal to help our people understand that they can own real estate, that there's creative ways to buy real estate. You don't need to have a lot of money to do it. You don't always have to have perfect credit to do it, and that there's ways to make it happen. So my goal is to get our community, our people of color community, to buy $100 million in real estate, give them all the tools, resources, and even give them the lenders out there to go do that, right? So we can have a huge transfer of wealth to our side, right? And start seeing the ball move, because, you know, it's when you own real estate, it simply owning real estate outpaces any savings account. You can try to save a few dollars with every paycheck, but by owning assets that appreciate over time, all right, you're that much further between that much more advanced in becoming financially free. And you know, it's time for our community to get involved and to get on the right side of ownership.
I loved what Sadina said and what you've done. You retired your parents.
That's right.
And that's one of your goals, to retire your parents.
I'm with that.
And people think real estate can help you do that. They don't think about it as, you know, I want to be a homeowner, but use it to achieve your financial goals.
Yes.
If you buy one of these properties together, that amount of money can help you cover your parents' bills. They're going to be hefty for taking care of them when they're older. It can help you retire them. So it can really be part of your financial flow.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different kinds of ways to invest. And sometimes buying a house to live in, right, is one of the best investments you can have. It doesn't always have to be a third, you know, an investment property. Like for my dad, what we did is we bought him a 3-unit in Jersey. And he lives in 1 unit and rents the other 2 units, and the rent on those 2 units covers the entire mortgage, where he actually makes money on a monthly basis. Not only lives free, but makes money on a monthly basis, so he doesn't have to tap into his retirement account to pay for his living expenses.
Or lean on his children.
Or lean on his children. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Sadina, I love how you talked about how you were into luxury properties, but this is also something, because I was the same way too. You know, always wanting to be like, okay, this has to be like a place I would live. But it doesn't have to be that, because, you know, my first home, my realtor's home, my broker was like, listen, this is not your dream home. This is your first home. It's an investment. And so I think that's important, too, for us to understand the power of investing. And and then when I was like doing certain things, like when I first opened a business, I was doing stuff as such like it has to be this, and we need gold here, and we need this here, and we need that here. You know, you can make something nice and decent, but also like within your budget. And so that's just something that's a lesson learned too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take that first home and use it to fund the rest of your life. I mean, you get a great deal coming out, and you purchase that first home, and you can use that equity and use it, you know, to go buy other properties, or then go get your luxury home or whatever. But
I'm gonna take these classes at Floor and Decor and learn how to do stuff myself. I'm
tell
telling
my
you.
brothers that. No, for real. I brought them in. I'm like, look.
And her brothers are our brothers in our Wealth Wednesdays Real Estate Club. Sam, tell people how often you're doing these live classes each week.
We're doing them every week. So every Wednesday, we do a free masterclass to show people how they can get involved and give them the basics of how they can find off-market real estate, how they can get funding to actually close on deals, and how to build a path or a plan for your family to achieve financial freedom through real estate using what we call the Flip to Freedom method. And then if you like those, you can also come and join the club. The club is a monthly subscription, and you know we go into real deep depth, and we meet once a week where we do live Zoom calls. You get access to the classes, you get access to the community, and we have a Facebook group where you can ask your questions live to other people in the community and use it to kind of get together and lift each other up. And one of the best things are deals of the week, where you get real live deals that are vetted by our team that you can also close on as well, to kind of take all the information and theory you just got and put into practice.
And
So where are we at right now, Sadina? Because I know we're checking in with you every week. So this week, where are we at in this process?
So we've got the house. My brothers are there now on the contractors as we're talking about them, getting them, you know, coming through the property, giving us quotes and making sure the quotes look nice. So yeah, that's kind of where we are, and we'll be deciding who we're gonna, be using probably tomorrow.
That's
by
for the-
next
that's
week
for the
we'll
St.
be-
Louis property.
Yes.
Angela and I are y'all's accountability
Toledo.
partners. So what should we be expecting out of you for next week?
All right, so for next week, so that's for the St. Louis
What are we-
property,
okay.
but for the new property, because we're going to track it from the beginning to the end.
Springfield, okay.
Yeah, so you're going through the financing process now. So between
Correct.
now and next week, you should have all your documents submitted to the
Yeah.
lender and get a commitment from the lender to close, so we can hit the timeline of closing by the end of the
Correct,
month.
yes.
Right.
Okay.
One of the beautiful things about using hard money lenders, people think that they're hard to use, but they're actually very easy. They're just expensive money, right? Because it's private money. It's not regular banks. But the due diligence process is much faster and quicker. So if you need to close in 2 weeks, hard money lenders
So it's
can
not
do
the
that.
underwriter like at the bank that takes
Not-
months
yeah,
to
not
get
like
it done.
that retail bank that takes you 2-3 months to get through underwriting. You can get it done in a week to 2 weeks, very easily if you supply everything. So this week the goal is to submit all the documents to the lender so we can clear the underwriting process. The only thing that may be pending might be the appraisal, but some lenders don't even require appraisal. They do a desktop at their office and just kind of verify it with the comps. So we'll see if it's the case, but the goal is to close it by the end of this month, and it's going to happen.
Okay, we'll watch that. Last thing, a lot of people say proceed with hard money loans with caution. Give us the 411 on hard money
And I say
loans.
that too.
Yeah, because there are good hard money lenders and there are bad hard money lenders out there. Hard money is not cheap. They're going to charge you points, which is 1% of the loan amount when you close. So if they charge you 3 points, they're charging you 3% at closing to give you the loan. And then they're going to charge you a rate over the life of the loan. So if they charge you, let's call it 11%, that means they're going to charge you 11% over the duration of you having that house. So it can get expensive. So you need to budget for this up front. That's why I always caution people to make sure they put the entire deal through a calculator, a really good calculator that's going to allow you to make sure you have the right money set aside to get to the finish line of that deal. Because if you don't have those interest payments set aside, if you don't have all the money you need to carry that deal, then you can fall into a situation where you're short and stressed out, and the deal can go south.
And they can take your
And
property
they can
from you
take
if you miss a payment.
Yeah, they can take your property from you. So when you put into a good calculator, which we give all of our mentees in the program, it'll tell you, all right, to own this property for 6 months, for 8 months, for 9 months, however time you project to own this property, you need $35,000 set aside. I'm just giving you a random example to own this deal. That's to cover the payments, to cover the insurance, to cover the utilities, to cover the property taxes, to cover the renovation costs. And then in that way you going in. So if you only have 20 set aside, you need to find a couple more grand to do that deal comfortably and not stressed out at the end. And that money can come from you or it can come from other sources, which we teach people in the group as well.
And that's why it's really important, like you were saying, making money in real estate is buying things below
Yes.
their costs.
Yes.
And finding the right listings.
All right. Well, listen, look, he knows we had this hard money conversation. But we'll be watching and tracking. Sadina, we appreciate you for being the person that's going to come up here and be vulnerable, because it's not easy to give people like all your info, but that's what being in the club is all about.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you for having me.
Thank
Happy
you so
Wealth
much.
Wednesdays, and join the club, Wealth Wednesdays, realestateClub.com. Follow Wealth Wednesdays on Instagram. We're going to be putting out all sorts of historical facts for Black History Month and sending out information. And happy Wealth Wednesdays.
Let's go, y'all.
Let's go.
Way up.